Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Finding Your Core Postpartum. In this video, we're going to be going through the next progression of some great core exercises. Now, if you haven't already watched our first video, make sure you go back and do, because we really start off from the basic activations and then we've already done a few exercises. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you some great progressions to then build up to. Hey, you're very vocal, aren't you? All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding our way back down onto the mat. You want to have your feet hip distance apart and laying flat. And we're going to start off with a lift foot. Now, I had a cesarean, so I started my rehab with my back on the ground. And I'd probably be encouraging most postpartum women to start off in the same spot anyway. So we want to start off with engaging that core. So think about that letter T, pull the hip bones in tight and lift the pelvic floor up. And you want to drift your right leg up off the ground. Now, when you do this, you want to have a nice straight shin and your knee and your hip should be in line, creating a nice 90-degree angle. What you don't want to do is have a floppy foot and have the knee that floats too close in towards the rib cage. So we want to be engaging the core to hold the left leg up. Exhale as we drift the leg back down. Inhale as we switch over to the left side into tabletop. Exhale as the foot comes back down. Notice with this exercise, the movement happens through the hips. I'm not just simply moving the knee. We're keeping our core engaged, and I'd be doing this exercise for around a minute. We'd then progress on to lift and extend. So we'd lift the leg up. We'd extend it out long on the mat. We'd pull the leg back into tabletop and coming back down. Now remember, the breath is integral to engaging the core, so we want to be making sure that we're moving with the breath. Each movement has a different breath sequence, so let's go through that together. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out through the mouth. Breathing in and back down. We'll go one more on the other side. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and back down. The next exercise that I would then be progressing onto, and it did take me a few weeks to get to this point, is going into a full tabletop position where we're squeezing our back down onto the mat and we're dropping our heel down to the ground. Now, it is perfectly okay if this exercise feels like it's just a little bit too much, especially if you've had a cesarean. You'll be putting a lot of pressure on the lower part of your abdominal wall. So you might like to stay with a lift foot rather than going into this toe tap position. It's the same movement as you keep the back flat to the ground and you're dropping the heel. The next exercise I love to add into my rehab is a side plank, which engages the glutes, hip stability, as well as starting to re-engage your obliques. So there's a couple of different positions you can get into when it comes to a side plank, but you always want to have your elbow underneath your shoulder. You have your knees bent and feet together. This is level 1, where we're pushing up our hips up off the ground. We've got both knees bent and tucked behind, our feet are tucked behind us. The second progression is one leg extended and onto the knee. And then the third level progression is both feet up, squeeze the hips tight and forward, and lifting the whole side body up off the mat. Now with this exercise, I would start with just doing some basic holds in this position and really develop your endurance before then adding maybe some hip dips in and then progressing on to the third variation. So there we have it, girls. That is 3 great core engaging, activating exercises that you can then progress onto if you are postpartum. So that was lift foot, lift and extend, our toe taps, and our side plank variation. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll be showing you some progressions onto those core exercises.